When I first sold all my things and moved from South Florida to Europe 6 years ago, Prague was my destination because my roots are from the Czech Republic and I wanted to learn about where my heritage came from. I spent several months learning Czech and was just finally starting to get the hang of it when I met the German man who would eventually go on to become my husband. So then I switched gears and started learning German. And you're watching Wanted and Adventure Living Abroad. But I've got a new home for the day. Thanks so much to Easy Languages for having me over. After a couple months of dating Mr. German Man, while I was still living in Prague and didn't know any German besides Gesundheit, he invited me to his hometown to meet his friends and family, who couldn't really speak so much English. In fact, some of them couldn't speak any. I'm a super outgoing person, so going to a party filled with people I couldn't really talk to was hard. I mean, there's only so much that charades can get across. The very next day after that party, I put the Czech textbooks away and took out the German ones. So when I moved to Germany a few months later, I'd already gotten my feet wet. And while German isn't the easiest language out there to learn, it was easier than Czech, so there was that at least. In both the Czech Republic and Germany, there are a good number of people who speak English. But at the same time, I always had the feeling that because I wasn't just visiting their country, I was choosing to live there, I had the responsibility to speak with the people in their language. If they saw me struggling and chose to meet me in the middle and get through the conversation speaking a little German, a little English, that was great. But I always felt like it was my responsibility to at least start in German or in Czech when I lived in Prague. And I found that often just showing my effort to speak their language made people suddenly happier to try to speak mine. Learning German was definitely an up and down ride. It still is, of course. Learning a new language is a lifetime thing. There are always some days where I feel like I understand everything, and then sometimes where I feel like people must be speaking some other language. And in Germany, sometimes they are, because the language has so many dialects like Bavarian and Plattdeutsch. The differences between Bavarian and German are way more extreme than just American English and British English. I can at least understand British English most of the time. But Mr. German Man, who's from the Cologne region, can't understand Bavarian. That's how different it is. Easy Languages did a great video on the topic showcasing phrases and sentences in German and then the same thing in Bavarian. I'll put a link to it below. It's really fun to watch. People often ask me for tips to learn German, and I would say first off, it's all about the right attitude. I went into learning the language not saying, oh, I'm gonna try to learn German. No, I was thinking I need to learn German, and that's that. So I did. And that's not to say that it wasn't challenging, because it was, but looking at it as a challenge to be conquered rather than a barrier already puts you in the right mindset. But I do have a couple tips for the learning part, besides watching Easy German, of course. Find a German book for which you can also buy the unabridged audiobook. Now, it has to be the unabridged audiobook because what you can do is read the book and listen at the same time. Then you will hear the words being spoken and see them with your eyes. Really a great way to learn, which is exactly one of the great things about the Easy German videos too, which I did use to learn the language as well. Also, find movies and TV shows that you already know by heart in your language and watch them in German. I hope you found all of this helpful. If you have any tips for learning German or languages in general, please share them in the comments below. For more of my videos, check out and subscribe to my Wanted and Adventure channel where I talk about travel, living in Germany, and just overall expat stuff. Links to everything in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to Easy Languages for having me. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen!